morning and good afternoon to all the people here in this room today. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world. Assume that most of you here are in Singapore. Let me start with a quick introduction. My name is Cryptic Lilac. I'm from Singapore, but currently in Hong Kong. Can't go to happy hour, unfortunately. I'm an NFT collector and investor in the space, and I'm here representing DAOGEN. So I've had the honor on behalf of the Blog Zoo as well to give all of you here a workshop into the topic of NFTs. If you've been in some of the prior sessions, my colleagues XV and Hunt City have given all of you a comprehensive overview on how to mint your own NFTs on Tezos and Ethereum. And today I want to talk about how to buy NFTs, which is on the other end of selling NFTs. So the NFT Connoisseur, the art of buying NFTs. Don't forget that the NFT space is a buyer and seller marketplace, as is all other crypto exchanges. And today's workshop will be all about my first experiences in the space. Nothing here is based on any textbook. There's no pre-made material. Everything you see here is based on my own buying experience, the profits I've made, the mistakes I've made along the way. It took me 6 months to get acquainted in the space. And as you know, the NFT space is very new, a lot of fanfare surrounding the space. And if you've been here long enough, it's kind of like the ICO days in 2017. 90% of NFT collections will not survive the NFT bear market. And if you've seen the stock market today and the floor price on a lot of NFT collections, they're kind of in a down period. And I believe this is a direct consequence of the Russian-Ukraine war. The stock market is affected, the crypto market is affected, and NFTs are no exception. There are correlations between these asset classes. So today I want you to focus on what NFTs you want to buy and make more good calls than bad calls. Now, you've seen my pre-workshop homework questions, and I hope you did them. The first question was, name me 5 NFT collections you like and why. The second question being, are you a long-term hodler or floor flipper? And the third question is, who do you think makes more money, the long-term hodler or the floor flipper? But also keeping in mind that paper profit equals unrealized profit, and selling your NFTs means realized profit, but at the same time, if you sell too early, it also means minimized gains. And the reasons why I ask these questions is because it is essential for you to establish your identity and your mindset at the very beginning of your NFT journey. This will give you a very clear understanding of who you are in the space and the kind of NFTs that you identify with, what kind of artwork you like, what kind of brands you support, what kind of communities you want to spend your time in. And you will spend a lot of time in these communities. What are the reasons for you getting into the space? Is it because you love the artwork, because you want to support the artist, or are you just here mainly for profit? A lot of people get into NFTs because they can make quick money from it. You get into mints early and you watch the value go up. It can be very profitable if you know what you're doing. And I kind of liken this to being a scalper or a day trader. You're just sitting in front of the computer all day, just watching the charts, watching the market. Are you someone who does swing trades? Are you holding positions for a week to a month, or is this an in and out thing like a day trader? So if you just go ahead and write on the chat, it will be helpful to get to know who you are as well in this group, what kind of NFTs you like, and what are your intentions getting into the space. No one's giving any answer. Okay, let's move on. So if you want to have a look at my NFT collection, here are some of them. Some of these are my main pieces. Some of them I've sold already. These are the ones that I'm most proud of showing. And these consist of all the women, Dead Fellas, Asian, Top Dog Beach Club, Crypto Coven, Alpha Girls Club. And all of these I bought with the ETH that I've pre-owned, and they range from 0.02 ETH to slightly north of 2 ETH. The marketplace I'm using is OpenSea. However, there are some emerging marketplaces that have the potential to be competitors to OpenSea. LooksRare is one of them. OpenSea is not the most reliable marketplace, but is still the largest one by trading volume. So for today's workshop, I will be focusing on OpenSea, the platform, and that leaves a dichotomy as well. It leaves room for competitors to emerge because the largest one is not the most reliable one. And the cool thing about NFTs is when you buy them, you're free to use it however you like because now you own them and you own the copyrights to them. So you can put it on your own artwork. For example, I'm in this collaborative group called DAOGEN. We are a DAO and we made a collaborative piece together, all 24 of us. And this NFT here, this World of Women NFT that I own, I can use it in my own artwork. You can also use it to make spin-offs. Like for example, I gave X the permission to use my NFT right here in his artwork. This is his NFT. I gave him the permission to use it, and then he can sell it as his own NFT. Last year, when I celebrated my birthday, I put my World of Women NFT collection on my birthday cake. And because I own the full rights to it, I can use it however I like. And of course, last week someone was asking, can you display your NFT? Yes, you can. There are brands like Nifty Slabs, who you can put your NFTs on these slabs or printed frames like these, and you can ship them as a physical copy. So if you get in early, you can also get signed prints from the original artist. It's not a must, but it's a cool to have. Now, a trend on Twitter is to put all your NFTs as the homepage banner as well. It's kind of like showing off your new bag. And, it's not a must, but if privacy is your thing, you don't have to. But as you will see today in today's workshop, Twitter is a must-have if you want to be in this space. Now, today I want to talk about good calls and bad calls. And I liken this to trading because you want to look at your win rate versus your lose rate. I've made some good decisions in the space and I've also made some bad decisions. I want to be very transparent and I want to own up to them, both good and bad. And, keep in mind, everything is on the blockchain, everything can be tracked. So, yeah, I don't want to pretend like I only made good calls, I also made bad calls. So today we'll be covering both. So let's start off with the good calls. Can anyone name me this collection? You go ahead and give your answers on the chat. Yep, first answer, correct answer. So good guess, this collection is called The World of Women. This is the first ever female-made, female-led, featuring female PFPs or profile pictures. 10,000 unique women living on the Ethereum blockchain. There are causes they support, like educating girls around the world. They stand against child marriages. And something very important as well, they have a curator fund to buy art from other established and emerging artists. And by now, the World of Women is considered a blue chip collection. And there are many reasons why a collection could be considered blue chip. Essentially just means that the collection is now very established, is recognized, and is considered very valuable. In stocks, blue chip also just means it's a reliable company, and sometimes they give out dividends as well. Now in NFTs, these dividends work a little bit differently. This could come in the form of like airdrops and token giveaways. And now the reason why I say this has been a good call for me is because it has tremendously increased in value. This is my most profitable NFT to date. And today the floor price is sitting at 9.4. I entered at only 2.5 ETH. So when I say the floor price, I mean the lowest price in the collection versus, say, the ceiling price, the highest price in the collection. So floor and ceiling. So because I bought this at 2.5, today the floor price is 9.4. If you can just do some quick math, my profit in ETH is about 7 ETH. And if you can type it on the chat, what's a US dollar of 7 ETH today? Any answers? Better at maths. Okay, it's about $20,000 for 7 ETH. And yeah, that's just for holding one NFT. Now let's just say I want to sell my NFT. I can always list it for higher than the floor price, and that makes me in the black. I'm profitable. And yeah, so yeah, you can see here I minted it for, no, so sorry, I bought it from secondary at 2.5 ETH. The original mint was 0.7, this was when it first launched, and the floor price today is 9.4. So I think this was a very good call for me. And of course, thanks to X as well. Uh, yeah, he helped me with doing research on this project. I did my own research, of course, but it's good to talk to people as well. Now, if you want to know more about World of Women, I made a YouTube video on this. Go ahead and watch it at your own time. The link is on my Twitter page, and you can go follow it in your own time. Now, that's just one example. And now remember in the earlier sessions, X and Han City have mentioned that Twitter and Discord are absolutely essential for this NFT game. And I'll elaborate more on this as well. Now, the reason why you want to get into good blue chip collections like World of Women, for example, is because they have something like this. Notifications and announcements that will be sent out on a collection's Twitter page and Discord page. And this will include details of new mints, like what day, what time, how many you can mint, what to do, the maximum number of NFTs you can mint. Today is rare that a collection will let you mint up to 20. Sometimes the max is 8. And this varies, of course, because now they want to keep the collection exclusive. Now they want to avoid floor sweeps by a single wallet. And World of Women is a very well-connected group, so that's why I also consider it blue chip. They're saying they're collaborating with this other NFT collection called Non-Fungible People, and they're giving discounts at 0.08 ETH versus the normal mint price of 0.2 ETH. Now, this is a good deal because not only are they securing you pre-sale spot whitelists, they're also giving you a discount. So a good project gives you value. Beyond owning a blue chip NFT, you also get access to whitelists, to exclusive new projects. You also get access to real life events. NFT NYC and Art Basel Miami come to mind. You get special airdrops, like for example, art. And like you'll see later, the Dead Fellas collection, they give you special lab passes and contests where you can win new NFTs. Now, for example, the World of Women, they did a collaboration with non-fungible people and Cool Cat pets, and they're giving away whitelist spots to even non-Cool Cat holders. So meaning, even though you're not a Cool Cat holder, because you're a World of Women holder and they did a collab together, now suddenly this whitelist is reserved for you. And this happened with Asian as well. Asian. So there's a saying in NFTs, you want an NFT that either grants you access to the group chat or an NFT that grants you access to the whitelist. So again, two things that are essential, Twitter and Discord. If you don't have it, please go and make it. I myself had to make the transition from Instagram and YouTube. Before NFTs, I was only on Instagram and YouTube, but because of NFTs, I started to use Twitter and Discord more. Please go download it and stay relevant, up to date. These are two platforms that you must have if you want to be on top of things in the NFT space. You know, just the other day, Bored Ape Yacht Club holders were being the target for hackers because of a loophole in OpenSea. And you know, these things happen so quickly. It takes time to film a video, it takes time to edit a video, it takes time to publish a video, but posting a tweet, it only takes a few seconds. So information moves so much quicker here. So do yourselves a favor and get yourselves on Twitter and follow me as well, and follow X and Han City here as well. Now, let's move on to the second example. Anyone knows what this collection is? Yeah, uh, no idea. Okay, I saw some alive fellas, dead fellas. So the correct answer is dead fellas. If you watch the Super Bowl, if you've been following Coinbase, then you know what this is. This collection is called Dead Fellas. It's my second, I would say this is my second good call. And this one I have to thank Han City for this, for getting me in on this. This had a really good price action run up and a strong, strong community. So Hamza, you want to take the floor and talk a little bit about Dead Fellas?
No, sure. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Deadfellas is a collection that instantly got me hooked because of its community and its founders. I initially, when I was looking into collections back in September or August last year, one thing that I broadly noticed about some projects was that their founders and their developers were very transparent about what they were doing, and they were very, very elaborative on Twitter on what they were building. And Deadfellas comes to mind because of one builder who's known as Betty. She's the co-founder of this project with along with her husband. So one thing that stroked me at that point was how transparent the founders were and how they were building a long-term project. And at that time, the price action was zero point 0.2 ETH. And now that fellas had actually had a run up to 5 ETH floor. Now it has gone down a bit, but it's still a wonderful project. And it was definitely because we saw that the founders were very dedicated and they were into it. So yeah, that's what I think about it, fellas.
Cute. So yeah, Deadfellas had an amazing run up. Made quite a good profit on this one. They also airdrop you extra NFTs just for holding them, and you can sell them if you like. These are called the lab passes. They just came out, and if you were just holding on to them, you could have sold them for like 2.5 ETH at its peak, or you could just mint them to become dead friends. And just because you hold the original one, you get these extra NFTs. I would appreciate if someone you could Stone, I think. I think it's coming from Stone. So let's move on to the next example. This collection is not so well known. In fact, it only recently sold out. Anyone knows what this collection is? Okay, nobody knows what this collection is. Okay, this collection is called Pennies. It's by this artist called Proto Stacy's. It's a less well-known collection, and in fact, it only just recently sold out. You can only buy on secondary now, and the price action hasn't been like super crazy pumping. It's been mediocre, no crazy run up, but no crazy run up. But I would say this collection has given me the most seasonal artwork, and I can resell these at any time. She has also airdropped me metaverse wearables, like you can see here, the bunny suit and the hat and the earrings. And if you go into Decentraland, this is Metaverse Arena, not Zuckerberg's Metaverse, but you can dress up your avatar in these clothes. So if I can wear my bunny hat and shoes in the metaverse just for buying one of these NFTs, and she airdrops me these cool new like clothes. Isn't that cool? She just gave it to me for free just for holding one NFT. So that's me in Decentraland, that's X there, and like we're hanging out in the Dead Fellows Club. So those were just three examples of good calls I've made. And now let's talk about the bad calls. I don't claim to have a 100% hit rate, and I guarantee you everyone in NFTs will have made a few mistakes along the way. Be it, missing out on early mints, be it selling an NFT too early, getting rugged, and so on. I do make mistakes, but what is important here is I own up to them and I learn from them and I don't make them again. And I won't pretend that you guarantee you will make money. If you don't know what you're doing, you will lose money. But what is important here is you don't give up and you continue to have interest in the space. And I think that's very important. Play the long game. Now, the first lesson is don't FOMO in. The trend is your friend until it ends. Don't FOMO into a don't FOMO into a collection without doing your own research. And you need to be comfortable with what you're doing. In fact, I didn't even get into Deadfellas when it was mint price at 0.02 ETH. I got in when it was 0.09 ETH because I wanted to do my own research first. When Han City approached me, it was cheap, and I was like, I don't know what this collection is. I want to do my own research first. I want to be comfortable with it. And because I wasn't pressured into buying it, I want to let it sit with me first, and I know that I'll be okay if I get into it at a later price. That's fine. The second mistake you can make is emotional trading. Never trade when you're angry or emotional. Don't make the same mistakes as me. Don't trade when you're angry or like sad or something. There's a classic rule in trading. Never revenge trade. Never trade and make up for the losses you've made because you will only lose more. And this is the same if you really want to be in a clear mental state before you sit down in front of your computer. Yeah, so yeah, the last mistake you can make is flipping too early, but this is a tough one because you can't really know, right? What if you just happen to glance at the floor and the price happens to dip a little bit and you get scared and then you sell, and after you sell, the price pumps like crazy. So you realize your profit, you have a little bit of profit, but then you also minimize on like insane gains. So how do we avoid these pitfalls? All of you here work in an exchange, and I am really curious to know your answers as well. What do you think? What do you think? Selling too early? Of course, beyond the gains, day traders and flippers can also bring down good projects fast because you're always pushing the price down like you're in a price war. So if everybody just held on to a fair price across the board instead of lowballing the entire collection early on, it will do the entire collection a lot of good because sometimes these good projects take time to build, and by flipping and selling these too early and too low is disheartening to both the creators and the collectors. Now, what was the latest trend in the NFT space? And this is funny. I hope you knew what this was. It was quite funny actually. Anyone knows what this is?
One who made 7 mil, right?
Yeah. Yeah, who said that? Who was that? Eric?
As Char Siu the third.
Yeah, okay. So this was the simp DAO trend. Her name is Irene DAO. If anyone doesn't know, I didn't know who she was. She's an influencer on Instagram. She put up this NFT collection on OpenSea called the Irene DAO. And simp culture is nothing new on the internet. And just because Logan Paul bought into her collection, suddenly this collection got so much traction. And I think this lady here put it perfectly well. This quote holds true. You know, simp culture on crypto just equals to a more profitable version of OnlyFans. And I put up a poll on my Twitter as well. You can see a sliver of market sentiment on these Synthal NFT collections. I'm not saying that the original collections were unprofitable, but if you knew what you were doing, you could make a killing. Most people thought that, she was smart to play off this game. Yeah, so that was like market sentiment. But what I want you to look at are these derivative collections. And in traditional finance, derivative just means the contract of an underlying asset, and you're not actually trading the asset, right? You're trading the contract. In NFTs, however, derivative just means it was derived from the original collection, a spin-off, if you will. And be very careful with these derivative collections because they have very short shelf lives. 1 minute here, next minute gone. People's attention span is very short, and in NFTs, you're talking about seconds, minutes, days. It's funny today, it's not funny tomorrow, especially not if you lose thousands of dollars. So this is the UniDAO NFT collection. I have no idea who this girl is. And this is quite funny actually, the Ghazali Irene DAO remix. So there was this guy called Ghazali every day. He took a selfie every day, and then they combine Irene DAO's picture here and with his face. And look how bad it is. Like it's just selling for 0 ETH. All you need is just pay gas fee and you get it for free. Like just imagine all those people who bought them and now they're holding on to like worthless NFTs. And this girl is called Marin Dao. Now, Marin is an influencer I'm following, and the unfortunate story was, I was really upset. I had an argument at home and I left the house. I sat at Starbucks and I just started clicking away, buying all these stupid NFTs. And guess what? I went into the Discord server. I could clearly see all the rubbish people were writing on the Discord server, and it was so dumb. And guess what? The price dumped after just one day. Until today, there's no chance of recovery. Yeah, so like sometimes when you go into the Discord server, you just like it's so obvious you're in a rug, you know? So don't be a degenerate like me. I can clearly see all these people on the server, they're DJs, they're making bad and risky bets that based on some culture, like SIP culture. So don't do it because you guys are classy people. Don't be degenerates. Be someone who makes good calls. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes Discord can be attacked by fudders. So my next bad call, I would say it's selling too early. Anybody know what this collection is? I think this one is on its way to becoming a really good collection. Nobody knows. Okay, so this collection, yes, this collection is called Crypto Coven. Hamza got it right, Crypto Coven. I thought this collection taps on a really niche market. And niche doesn't mean it's not mass market. It just means that there's a very specified interest group or demographic. And this collection, you know, is called Crypto Coven. It's witches, it's astrologers, it's gypsies, it's fairies. That's why it's called Coven. The founder, she's into tarot cards, she's into astrology, she's into numerology. And, in Chinese, they say like, 八字, right? So, yeah, these are all my interests as well. And I bought one of these because I like the artwork and I myself have an interest in astrology. But the problem was I saw the floor price dip a little bit. Okay, I was bored. This was like early January, just after the new year. I was bored. I saw the floor price dip a little bit. I got a little bit scared, and then I put my coven up for listing for point 0.8 ETH or 0.6 ETH here. So what the best practice is if you list your NFT on OpenSea, because the things move so quickly in the space, you kind of want to just put your listing up for sale for no longer than a day, I feel. And after today, I kind of don't want to put my NFTs up for sale for longer than a day, because there's after I put my listing up, I went onto Twitter and then I saw Crypto Coven did a spaces, and there's so much fanfare around this collection that it went all the way up to 2.56 ETH. So you can say that, yeah, this was a bad call because I sold too early. I did make a quick flip. I made like 5 ETH, 0.05 ETH profit. But just imagine if I held on to it a little bit longer, and it's not like I didn't like the artwork. I love the artwork. There's an ETH logo on her head. There's like she's wearing a crown. I think it's beautiful. I love the artwork. I don't mind looking at it. But because I was scared and I saw the price dip a little bit, you have to have confidence. You need to have diamond hands when you're in this space. You need to hold on to your NFTs. So also don't list your NFTs for longer than a few days, because you might forget about your listing and like someone just snipes it up. Now the next collection, I want you to guess or make a judgment call. Do you think this is a good call or a bad call? So anybody knows what this collection is? Okay, so this collection is called the Alpha Girl Club, and I bought this NFT at 0.2 ETH, sold it at 0.8 ETH, and today the floor dropped to 0.3 ETH. Now, let's just say 2 weeks from now, the founders, who are Russian, by the way, they announce something, and all of a sudden, the entire collection pumps, and now they are worth 3 ETH. Do you now then think it's a good call or a bad call? What do you think? Because I bought it at 0.2, sold it at 0.8, the floor dropped to 0.3. So today, it looks like it's a good call because I made a profit. But later on, if the price pumps, then it's a bad call, right? Well, this is really a judgment call. I think you could use the profits I made from the earlier sale to buy back in the NFT again at a later date. And you know what? In fact, with the 0.6 ETH that I made, the profit, in fact, I can buy 2 more. In fact, the floor is 0.2 now. I can buy 3 more. Yeah, so it's really a judgment call. So let's do some math. Earlier on, I asked you this question: who do you think makes more money? The person who holds long term, or the person who day trades, like flips? Okay, so let's just do some quick math. My profit on the WoW, just for holding it, is 6.9 ETH. My profit on the Deadfellas is 1.6 ETH. That brings it to a total of 8.5 ETH just for holding. My profit on the Alpha Girls Club is 0.6 ETH. Profit on the Coven is 0.4 ETH, bringing it a total of 1 ETH. Who do you think makes more money, the day trader or the long-term holder? And so if you never sell, you also never make a bad call. So if you never sell, you don't realize your profits. But if I'm trading every day, if I repeat this 8 times, 8 weeks, do you think I can make up the same amount of money if I just hold it long term? Yeah, so that really is a judgment call, isn't it? So that brings us to the conclusion. Are you a long-term holder or short-term flipper? Who do you want to be? Are you an NFT connoisseur or an NFT degen? Do you make good calls or do you make consistently bad calls? Yeah. Hollow forever. Oh, where did my picture go? Okay, so I'll move on to the next part of my workshop, which is the features. Let's talk about the features of good projects and bad projects. In a summary, the good things I want to look out for is, first of all, good projects have non-Anon founders. The non-Anon founders went Anon. Yeah, where's my picture? Are they real people? Be very careful. Some of these so-called founders are actually just paid actors. When you click on their LinkedIn profile, it's all clearly made up. It's so fake, it's obvious. I'll be scared if I couldn't find any social media presence to these founders. And it's not good. I want to know exactly who this project is being run by and who is accountable for this. The second thing I'm looking out for is active community, active engagement. Nowadays you can buy fake followers. It's a very clear indication. You go into the Discord, there are thousands of people, but only just a few people online at any one time. In the chat groups, no one is talking. It's just the mod team, it's just the dev team. Yeah, that's a bad sign. The third thing I want to look out for is utility. This NFT collection, some of them have a course or a workshop attached to them. Or is it, the idea that you're supporting a content creator, that you're buying one of their NFTs to show that you believe in this person who's creating the videos, the content for you. It's not easy to appear in front of a camera, so why not support this person by buying their NFTs? What about, invites to events? So I get to go to cool parties and meetups like NFT NYC, Dreamverse, Art Basel Miami, Sotheby's art auctions. What else could there be? Or do you think this project is just a cash grab or just a passion project? Is it backed by a big brand like Pepsi or Marvel? Because those are guaranteed to do well. Those sell out really quickly. Believe me, because these big brands, they understand the paradigm shift of NFTs and they're spending a lot of money to claim copyrights and ownerships in the space. Remember in the beginning, I spoke about copyright. So this is where it's at. The artist, is he or she an established one? Has he been making art a long time, way before NFTs? And this reminds me of Cool Cats because the artist started off doing fairs and pop-ups in his local area, and now he's a big NFT artist because people believe in him and his art, and he's been doing it a long time. And that could be a very strong indication that he will continue to work on it in the future as well. There's longevity in his project. Or is it, some random Fiverr artist hired to draw some random cartoons? That for sure is a cash grab. So obviously the opposite is true, bad projects. I found a few projects that were rugged, like this one called Soul Snails. In September last year when Solana was pumping, there were so many Solana NFTs coming out in the space. I looked at them again. Some of them were rugs. You know, clearly on the Twitter page, it says that this project is a rug. Some people still continue to put more money in. I don't know why. You know, yeah, the profile is not on OpenSea anymore. The profile is not on Foundation anymore. So you go on Twitter and Discord, you can see there's no engagement. It's fake numbers. You know, the account was just made, but suddenly there's like tens of thousands of followers. I mean, these things can be bought. And with these projects, the best advice is if you put money with it already, just cut your losses. Don't flog a dead horse. The last thing you want to do is pour more money in hopes of recovering a project because you know you're flogging a dead horse. I hope you never do this. I hope you never put more money in like these people at Soul Snails. So obviously this is something called a derivative. Obviously this guy doesn't own the Bored Ape, but he made a derivative. He's copying something else. It's Bored Ape fast food clubs. I mean, yeah, they're just copying other people. There is no longevity in the project, and this is obviously clearly something very stupid. So don't get into it. Any questions so far? Okay, if no questions, I'll move on.
What does something stupid look like?
Like right here, I mean, you can clearly see it's a derivative. I mean, this is Irene Dao, and you know I mean, I have no words.
Okay.
I have no words. You know, and you
All
go
right,
into the
fair enough.
Discord server. It's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the third segment. I think we're kind of running out of time as well. The 5 tools that I use in getting into new NFTs. There are 5 main tools that you can use. I'll go through the first 3 because the 4th and the 5th one are a little bit more advanced. The first one, you have tools that show you general market data. The second one, upcoming drops or mint scanners. The third one, wallet scanners. Fourth one, floor trackers. And fifth one, sniping tools. Now, the first 3 ones are kind of a little bit more easy to understand. And if you know, general market data, some of you maybe come from a banking background. This will be like your Bloomberg of NFTs. You want to look at the market outlook. You want to look at the state of the market. Is there demand for this NFT? Are we in a hype cycle? Are we in a bear market? And you use these tools that help us keep track of the upcoming drops. And you want real-time floor and volume data as well as price action. And just across a variety of collection and blockchains. So let's go through one. Oh, by the way, all of these will be in the PDF that we will share. It's prepared by Han City. Yeah, we'll put it in the drive and you guys can look at it as well. So this first one that I use is called Crypto Slam. You can kind of see it on the homepage of OpenSea as well, but if you want a more in-depth look at the market, this one's called Crypto Slam. It lets you see the volume, the price action across different chains. Here you can see the different blockchains as well. Ethereum, Solana, top 2. You can see Tezos in number 9. Avalanche is really a silent killer and something I want to highlight. At number 5, it has 1/4 the sales volume and 1/10 the transaction volume of Solana. So it's up and coming, something I want to look out for as well. Click around, you play with it, and you'll be surprised at what you find. The second tool you can use is this one called NFT scoring. This one, you can look at the collections, like who's holding, like here you can see the whale, how many whales are holding it, and then you can also see the Twitter and Discord followers at one glance. Some of these are paid features as well. You don't have to use every single one of them, but if you want a comprehensive overlook of everything, and you don't want to look through Twitter as well, this is the tool to use. My third and absolute favorite tool is a wallet scanner, and I have to admit this feels a bit stalkerish, like I'm stalking someone. But if you can stalk your ex on Facebook, why not stalk a whale on a wallet scanner, right? So, yeah, the number one way to find new drops, this app is called Dep Radar. You put in, yeah, you put in a wallet address on Dep Radar, and then you can see what kind of NFTs he's holding. And here you can see I put in someone's wallet address. I can see the net worth of his tokens. And here you can see on the right, you can see he's holding World of Women, he's holding Cool Cats, he's holding Pepe's, he's holding, is this Subducks or derivative Subducks? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if I cross check and more than one wallet is holding on to a certain collection, then it's something to take notice of. And don't forget, the number one way to find new drops is just to follow people on Twitter. Look out for who these whales are, who are the big influential people are in the space. Because what you're doing here is copy trading. And if you're following a trader, then you just think of it like you're a little fish in the ocean and you want to swim with the whales. You want to cling on to their underbelly. You'll be fine. So look around Twitter. If you don't want to look at Twitter as well, just look at the wallet. You can just stalk them and see what kind of NFTs they have, and be in as many groups as you can. That's where these in real life events come into play. When you get invited to like NFT NYC, for example, you get to go to these networking events in real life, and then you get to be in all these different groups. And if you notice that more than one group is talking about one project, then it's high time you take notice of this project. So the kind of NFTs that you buy, of course, will be very different from what I buy. This will be based on your spending patterns and your consumer profile, of course. And I think we're going to the live consult now. Yeah, so I just want to end by saying, just because someone holds an NFT doesn't mean you need to get into it. Of course, do your own research. Please always do your own research. I think that's the best way to learn. Just dive straight in, read, watch all these tutorials, come for these workshops, talk to people, read up, and yeah, all the best. I really wish you all the best. This is a fun space, and yeah, glad to be here. And now we're gonna, oh, there's a glossary. Oh yeah, okay, so this glossary will just be in the PDF as well. All the words that I've used here, there will be the definitions in the PDF as well. Just refer to that as well. And now I'm gonna move on to the next segment, which is our live consult. And Hamza, you wanna take the floor?
Okay, sure. So what I want to do is go to OpenSea and just check out a few collections and kind of use it in a way and see what my analysis of any random NFT looks like. So I'm going to share my screen now and we can take over from there.
By the way, did anybody type what their favorite top 5 NFT collection is?
Yeah, type that in the chat too. Is my screen visible? Can
Yes.
everyone see my screen? Okay, cool.
Just any
So
5.
one thing that I personally do to identify collections to put in money is that I go here. We can do Azuki, but we can do Azuki real quick.
Super Yetis,
So
Doge Pound.
Super Yetis, Doge Pound. Yeah, let me try to cover one Azuki from the chat and then one absolutely random from here. Just basic thoughts. And of course, this is not 100% true, just speculating. So maybe this analysis can be wrong in the future. But I want you guys to understand how to think when you discover something new. So let's say I discovered Azuki right now. This is the first time I'm seeing this. And I look at the floor price, it is already 10 Ethereum. And I want to understand, is this sustainable? Does this number make sense? So very first thing that I see is volume traded, which is crazy, but it also means that it traded for a maturity trading volume and it's still 10 floor price, which is a better sign than, let's say, something like Invisible Friends. I'm not sure if this collection will be successful or not, but I can see the volume traded. This was a very hype project, and the volume traded is still relatively less in terms of Azuki. So I can't say this is sustainable because of the volume traded is a little less. But keep in mind that this is also a crazy number. And just to give you context, Deadfellas did not hit this number up until like 2 months ago, even though that project is like 10 months old. So this is also a very crazy number, but these new projects are just hitting very high numbers. So in that comparison, this is still relatively low. When you talk about post reveal and pre reveal, there's a 95% chance usually that collections drop in their floor price after the reveal. So if you have missed out on something and if you feel that the floor price is very less, you can definitely buy something after the reveal. And the reason for that is pre-reveal, everything is like an unscratched card. You can get a rare, you can get something that you like, you can get a visual that you generally like. But after the revelation, you can see what you got. And some people do not like it. Some people think they might have gotten rares, but they don't. So they kind of try to exchange it with something else. That's why you see a general drop in post reveal. And also, a lot of people start selling post reveal and a lot of people start panicking. And that's why the floor price drops. So let's go back to Azuki real quick. If you look at here, the first thing that I do, I look at activity and I see the stats overall and I see the graph if it's pumping or not. And this graph kind of shows us that it's been stable for a while. It was relatively low initially, but if you see average price here, it's still 2 Ethereum, so it was never really down. But you can see that it's relatively rising and it's consistently hitting the same records again and again, which is a good sign. Uh, then you go to their Twitter and you can try to see how many followers do they have? Are they posting regularly? What are they doing every single day? A lot of projects just go silent after the reveal. After something is come, they just go silent. So if you scroll down here, you can see the Azuki project just doing a bunch of stuff. They're asking the stories unfolding. They're saying there's a new collection or something coming in, and there's fractionized IP. You see just a general thing. You see that they're continuing to introduce stuff. If you see this GIF, you're saying that okay, these are doing really well in numbers, but they're still doing something. If you head over to their website, you'd have a better idea, or we'd have a better idea about what they're doing. And initially, I can see that let's go to careers. Let's go if they're doing any sort of hiring. That's also a very good flag. That means that they're reinvesting the money that they made. They probably made 2-digit millions or even more than that. So if you see the volume traded, and if you go here, you can see that they're hiring people, and they're hiring an art director, they're hiring a designer. That means that they're pouring money back into this thing. And if you see here, there are also a lot of like you can see here that there's a lot of thought being put into this project even after it has done really well. A lot of projects just go silent. You can visit other stuff. And I'm looking this off the bat. And overall, this shows something nice. There are creators here. The team is very large, and all of them, I think they should have some sort of following. They should have some sort of a credibility before this launch. So yeah, I think Azuki, looking at these things through this lens, you can see that there's something present. If I look at another collection, let's look at a collection that's contrasting of this. Let's see something like I don't know, maybe this Catbox Genesis. I don't know what this is. If you click on their Twitter, okay, they have a very good follower count, and yeah, they're just posting stuff. their older stuff. They have this thing going on. Let's see their website. Okay, so they have the very same thing going on. So this is also a good thing to look at. And I think these collections are pretty new. But yeah, this is how you kind of look into it. Also, one of the things that you need to understand is if you go to all time, you'd see that these are the collections that are the highest selling collections of all time. And you can identify the floor prices of these. Let's say Bored Ape Yacht Club and CryptoPunks are kind of like very much up there. So these prices are unmatched for now. But if you look at something like Clonex, this has been there for a while, and this is the floor price of Clonex. This was company was acquired by Nike, so this is the top of the food chain. You can see the volume traded a lot, and this is very credible. And the floor price for this right now is 13.75. Similarly, if you go to Cool Cats, you can see the floor price of Cool Cats being almost 9. I think Cool Cat can be classified as the third biggest or the fourth biggest collection after CryptoPunks and Bored Ape Yacht Club, and their floor price is 9. So if something like Invisible Friends come in, like randomly, something very new, let's go back to the 7 days, and their floor price is almost touching 9, you can see that, okay, is this really sustainable? Maybe it is. For Azuki, Azuki was kind of new, but they were the exception in terms of keeping their floor price high. I don't see any other collection at all that did what Azuki did. And partially, I think because of the anime style thing, they might have gotten a lot of traction from the Asian market. So they kind of pulled it off. But every other collection that goes this high so early, like Invisible Friends, you can see that we have a collection that is literally acquired by Nike and it's sitting at 14. We have this collection that is, world renowned, probably the third biggest collection of all time. They're sitting at 9, and there's something completely new like Invisible Friends, and they're sitting at 9 too. So you kind of make and derive conclusions like, okay, is this really sustainable? Something so new that just came in, matching the floor price even higher than Cool Cats. You can see that, okay, no, you can't really compare this, and this might not be a good time to jump in. Very similar projects such as Invisible Friends came in, such as Mechaverse, such as Hey Beast. I don't know where Hey Beast is sitting right now, Hey Prime, but they were sitting at a very high price. Yeah, so they're sitting at 2.3 right now. Mechaverse had the very same launch. They were probably the most anticipated launch of all time up till that point, and they're sitting at zero point 0.9. And all of these hit 9 Ethereum floor prices at the very beginning. So it's kind of bad for projects to kind of hit these numbers initially because they can't keep up. People would eventually just put in money into more credible collections such as this and this when they make profit from collections like this. So for a project to go long term, you it's kind of better to not have too high floor price initially and people buy into it slowly. And that happened for Bored Ape Yacht Club. That happened for Cool Cats. That happened for Deadfellas. That happened for Punks. Every collection that you know right now was a very low mint, and they kind of grew into who they are right now. Clonus is an exception because they were already pretty big artifact. Azuki is also an exception. But other than that, I think even Doodles was very anticipated, but even Doodles sat on like one or two ETH floor for a long time before pumping up to what they are right now. So you can see the patterns in every successful collection, and you can see that they're not as hyped as Invisible Friends or Mechaverse initially. So you kind of derive things from uh, pre-owned collections, and I think that's the best way to go about it. See established collections, see their patterns. You can also go to Bored Ape Yacht Club. You can go to their activity tab and you can click on all time and you can see the graphs. And what you'd notice is that these graphs would be very similar for most high-end collections that has been there for a long time. Like as a last thing, let's just compare Cool Cat's graph with Bored Ape Yacht Club. you would see very similar graphs going in. And that would kind of tell you that there's a very similar pattern. So if you look here, graphs slowly ascend, a very slow ascent towards greatness, and then up and down and up and down, and kind of in the middle from their all-time high. And you can see the same thing here, but Bored Ape Yacht Club is kind of growing up, but very similar charts. Even for if you look at Dead Fellas, you might see a very similar chart. So you can see a pattern for all of these things are very similar. And of course, this wouldn't stay the same. There are stuff like Azuki, which started from a very high and continue to start high, and there would be more and more projects coming in. But most blue chip projects or potential blue chip projects have the same thing. They have a very slow ascend, and then they kind of dabble along the top. And this is happening in every collection that you see here. World of Women probably has the same chart. You can assume that most blue chip have the same chart. So yeah, this is how you generally browse through these things. Tools are helpful, but you can see the raw data directly through the statistics, and you can kind of take reference from a bigger collection, and you know about the patterns and what's going on. And it's always nice to just look at these stats and establish and identify what patterns are being followed. So yeah, this is a very basic analysis. And I'm going to stop here. I advise you all to just go to these websites and go to rankings and just do a research on your own. Try to identify patterns, and you're going to slowly start building that muscle reflex where you'd be able to tell a good collection from a bad one in mere seconds through intuition, not through like proper data, but generally. And I
Cool.
think now Lisa, you can take over. We need to
Yeah.
move towards a quiz, I think.
So that has been our workshop on, risk management, a setup guide, how to buy NFTs, how to look at NFT collections based on their activities and past activity, and how to go forward from there. So this has been an absolute pleasure. This is our last workshop, I believe, and yeah, we would like to thank Bybit Exchange and Block School for bringing us here. On behalf of DAOGEN, thank you very much. We're honored. Stay behind for a quiz if you have time. We're giving away an NFT as a prize. We have a Kahoot quiz